When Pygmalion saw these women living such wicked lives, he was revolted by the many faults which nature had implanted in the female sex, and long lived a bachelor existence, without many to share his home. But meanwhile, with marvellous artistry, he skillfully carved a snowy ivory statue. He made it lovelier than any woman born, and fell in love with his own creation. The statue had all the appearance of a real girl, so it seemed to be alive, to want to move. Did not modesty forbid? So clearly did his art conceal its art. Pygmalion gazed in wonder, and his heart there rose a passionate love for this image and the human form. Often he ran his hands over the work, feeling it to see whether it was flesh or ivory. He would not yet admit that ivory was all it was. He kissed the statue, and imagined that it kissed him back, spoke to it and embraced it, and thought it felt his fingers sink into the limbs he touched, so that he was afraid to let a bruise appear where he had pressed the flesh. Sometimes he addressed it in flattering speeches, sometimes brought the kind of presents that girls enjoy, shells and polished pebbles, little birds and flowers of 1,000 hues, lilies and painted balls, and drops of amber which ran from tin trees that were once Pythian's sisters. He dressed the limbs of his statue in women's robes, and put rings on its fingers, long necklaces around its neck, pearls from its ears, and chains were looped upon its breast. All this finery became the image well, but it was no less lovely unborn. On a couch that was covered with cloths of Tyrian purple, laid its head to rest on the soft down pillows, as if a cloud would appreciate them, and called it his bedfellow. The festival of Venus, which is celebrated with the greatest pomp all through Cyprus, was now in progress, and heifers, their crooked horns gilded for the occasion, had fallen at the altar as the axe struck their snowy necks. Smoke was rising from the incense, when Pygmalion, having made his offering, stood by the altar and timidly prayed, saying, "If you gods could give all things, may I have as my wife, I pray." He did not dare to say, "the ivory maiden," but finished, "one like the ivory maiden." However, golden Venus, present at her festival in person, understood what his prayers meant. As a sign, the gods were calmly disposed. The flames burned up 3 times, shooting a tongue of fire into the air. When Pygmalion returned home, he made straight for the statue of the girl he loved, leaned over the couch, and kissed her. She seemed warm. At his touch, the ivory lost its hardness and grew soft, his fingers made important on the yielding surface, just as wax melts in the sun, and worked by men's fingers is used. The lover stood amazed and afraid of being mistaken, his joy tempered with doubt. It was indeed a human body! The veins throbbed as he pressed them with his thumb. Then Pygmalion, in pathos, was eloquent in his thanks to Venus. The goddess Venus was present at the marriage, and she had arranged, and when the moon's horns and the 9 tongues began rounded into a full circle, Pygmalion's bride bore a child, Paphos, from whom the island takes its name.
I did it.
Can't handle that in my toga. Toga! No. Read it.
When Pygmalion saw these women living such wicked lives...
Stop laughing! Go. We're gonna have like hours and hours of him laughing.
Okay.
I wasn't laughing before.
You can't make any sound.
Okay,
Pass the wave.
Okay, Theo!
Get back.
Start right there.
Okay, so we're just gonna like hold our hands and like pull them at.